Yeah, I think it's a very difficult job for policymakers in China at the moment because on the one hand, they are sticking with this zero COVID policy, which we know from global experience really does hit economic growth. And I mean, China's really one of the standouts in the world right now with sticking to that zero COVID policy because, most other countries have shifted stance to endemic living. And endemic living means that there isn't the economic recovery is being constantly stifled. So on the one hand, you've got that. And I think what policymakers are really doing is standing out from everyone else in that they are sticking to, stimulatory driven growth as well. They're trying to insulate the economic impact of that zero COVID policy. So we've seen the government recently come out and say that they're going to increase infrastructure spending to try and, help that demand side of the economy improve. And in addition to that, we've got the PBOC, which is really in contrast to central banks across the globe in that strong easing stance that they're maintaining, at least through the first half of this year.
Katrina, can I get your take on inflation in our region? Because there is a sense that the supply chain gridlock, which could feed into inflation, that's coming out of China at the moment, is worse than it was about 2 years ago at the height of the pandemic. Does that put paid to this idea that inflation is near a peak?
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to tell exactly when we're going to see that peak in inflation. But if we do take a step back and look at how inflation throughout APAC is tracking, and it's definitely, trended higher in the past couple of months. And a key driver of that has been Russia's invasion of Ukraine and that spike in commodity prices that we've seen. So we're seeing countries across the region, from Australia to India, grappling with higher fuel and food costs. And then in addition to that, you've got this ongoing zero COVID policy in China, which is keeping the supply chain stress elevated, in addition to what Russia's invasion of Ukraine has already done. And so that's keeping that pressure on the supply side as well. So it just means that inflation is tracking higher in the region. And it also means that it's really keeping pressure on central banks to perhaps normalize policy more aggressively and quickly than what they would like.